Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session this afternoon. It's good to see those who are opening their cameras because I would be able to get to see the most beautiful creation of God, your beauty and your handsome faces. Okay, so let us try to check first the atmosphere of the group. I want you to check our mood right now for a while. So I'll be launching the poll. All you have to do is to choose the color you are in right now based on the mood that best represents rather your zone. Okay, so I'm opening the poll now. I hope everyone okay. So please take note for a while. My presentation is not moving. It's not moving for a while. Okay. So based on the poll, for a while it's lagging. Okay. So there are 85 of you, and then there are only who answered like 15, 20, 28. What happened to the other people? So I want you to choose your color zone. If you're feeling sleepy right now, you're slouching, you're sighing, you're yawning, then you choose color blue for those who are not participating. And if you are excited to learn this afternoon, kindly choose your color, which is green. However, if you are fidgeting right now, preoccupied, you have to choose yellow. Lastly, if you are mad right now because you're attending this session, you are screaming inside, yelling inside, then choose red. Why are others answering in the group, in the chat box? We have the poll. Okay, so let's try to check also your answers in the chat box. You have green, green, green. Everyone is very positive. Blue, but for the poll, we have majority is green. Even in the chat box, we also have green. Okay, so for those who are answering, na ako taas sa tree. For those who are answering blue, you're sleepy, please try to hold on. It might not take so long because this will only last for 2 hours. This will pass. Eventually, we will just be reorienting ourselves. For those who are on the green zone, I hope you would be able to sustain the animal spirit. And for those who are in the yellow zone, manalig lamang, kakayanin natin to, ipapanalo natin to. And then for those who are in the red zone, kalma. Please take note, this has CPD points. So I hope, or regardless of what you are feeling right now, I hope you would be able to actively participate in our session this afternoon. So thank you for your answers. So there would be another set of poll. This time I would just like to know, how are you? Where are you right now? How are you dealing with um, your work, your role as a teacher in terms of employing strategies or approaches in order to meet the demands, the needs of our students? So I would be opening the poll. I want you to open another tab, type in slido.com and enter the number code, which is 715371. And for those who are using mobile phone, you can scan the QR code and you will be directed to the site. Okay? Let us try to check. For a while. Okay. I'm waiting for the others. Now, we have here 4, 6 already getting in. 9, 12. Let's wait for the others. 25 participants. Okay. So this time, for the first statement, I provide timely feedback. All you have to do is to choose whether you're always doing this, oftentimes or sometimes, rarely or never. Okay? I want you to answer honestly. Okay. We will check. Okay, it's good to know that though it's not always 20 and always rather and sometimes have the same percentage, but it's good to know that majority has answered oftentimes. Okay, thank you. We'll proceed to the next one. I value intellectual divergence. Is it always, often, sometimes, rarely, or never? Okay, 81%, that's very good. 17, 3%. Okay, this is a very positive result because 80% had answered valuing the intellectual divergence of our students. The last one we have, I give examples that relate to their personal experiences. Is it always, sometimes, often, rarely, or never. Okay? 73, 74%. Still counting. Okay, so still, it's good to know that majority and all had answered always, meaning to say we always give examples that relate to the personal experiences. So knowing all these results, it only reminds us, as said by Sir Jezreel this morning, we are on the right track, baby. And so we are born to become teachers. So we know what we are doing in our classroom, in our with our students, and in our teaching. So this afternoon, our focus for this session is to know the pedagogy in teaching and or approaches in learner-centered classroom. By the way, I am Ms. Darlene Jane Hamner Filipino. I will be your facilitator this afternoon. Okay, so in order for us to be engaging, to be interactive, I wish everyone would be participating actively, be open in sharing your personal experiences to the group, because that's one way we could help one another to better improve our teaching learning experiences in our own classroom. Okay, so we are um, guided with the following objectives, and we wish to achieve the following objectives. Can I call from the group to read the objectives this afternoon? Can I ask Sir Mark John to read the following objectives?
Like for this afternoon's objectives, at the end of the session, participants will be able to 1. Demonstrate the use of the pedagogy in teaching and or approaches in a learner-centered classroom. Relearn the pedagogies of teaching and the various approaches of a learner-centered classroom, and create avenues for collaboration in order to improve teaching learning experiences.
Okay, thank you, Sir Mark. So basically, this is not new to us. We have been trained already. We have been given with different seminars. But this afternoon, one of the objectives is from your end, you would be able to demonstrate what you have learned, how you integrated, incorporated all the digital apps or all the things that we have learned during the NSET. And at the same time, reorient ourselves with the digital apps that somehow we were not able to make use of in our discussion. And at the same time, this will also be one of the avenues where we can collaborate with our colleagues through our shared personal experiences that somehow will help us in our teaching learning discussion or experience. So basically, these are the three key areas that we have to dwell on in our discussion this afternoon. Our focus would be on what are ways, or what are the ways, or how do we do getting to know the students, and basically know also how do we deal with collaborative activities, came up with varied activities. And the last one, how we do reflection or integrate values in our discussion. So these are the three main areas that we will be dealing with this afternoon. So we have been we have been talking about the word pedagogy. But this time, let us try to unlock first the word pedagogy. Now, I know this is not new to you. Everyone had already heard the word pedagogy, but this time I wish to know what words can you associate with if we hear the word pedagogy. You can answer in the chat box, or you can click the um, raise hand button if you wish to talk. Okay, it's method from Sir Bushley. It's art of teaching, methods, practice or practices, teaching, methods, strategies. Okay, so let us try to check whether you have the same answer with what Dr. Yadav had. Okay, thank you. How Dr. Yadav rather defined the word pedagogy. According to Dr. Yadav of University of Delhi, pedagogy defines the methods adapted for conducting teaching learning sessions using various strategies and approaches adapted by teachers to ensure the fulfillment of the objectives. So based on the given definitions, what are the important keywords that we have to remember if we have to employ or if we have to employ pedagogy? Again, what are the important keywords we have to remember? You can type in your answer based on the given definition. Strategies and approaches. Very good, Miss Eliza. What else? Are there other keywords aside from strategies and approaches? Who's employing the pedagogy? Is it the students or the teachers? Okay, thank you, Sir Wishley. It's methods to achieve the objectives. Indeed, it's adopted or it's used by the teachers, not by the students. So these are basically strategies, approaches that teachers are using in order to ensure the fulfillment of the objectives. So we knew the fact that in the teaching learning process, there are two entities involved. We have the student and the teacher. So basically, in the teaching learning process, if there would be learning gap or learning difficulties, the pedagogy would serve as a bridge of communication between the two entities. So we try to come up with strategies or approaches that would better answer the needs of the students based on their it could be their intelligence or based on their diversity. So that's how important pedagogy is in our teaching. It's basically our guiding or it guides us rather in order to better address the needs of our students. So one of the key areas that we have to know first is getting to know. Now, why do we need to get to know our students, and how does getting to know our students help us in employing various strategies or approaches? Now, this time, you can share your personal experiences. Why do we need to get to know our students? Yes, anyone? to establish rapport. Thank you, Miss Carla. Who else? To decide appropriate pedagogies. Thank you, sir. Who else would like to answer? For us to know their learning styles. Yes, very good. To identify their learning needs and difficulties. Thank you. It will help you discover their learning styles. Okay, so there would be matching of the approaches with their learning styles. Okay, so we have here the different tips on how we get to know our students. I believe these tips are not new to you. We have been doing this, but let us try to just check whether we are on the right track as to the ways we in getting to know our students. So the first tip to know our students is to schedule time to interact with the students. Are we doing this one? Is this evident? Yes, very loud. Yes. Okay. So can you tell me, can you share to me rather, how is this evident in our school? Anyone? How is this evident? Yes? From the social sciences? Yes, anyone? How is this evident? Yes, Sir Wishley?
Good afternoon, everyone. And for the integrated school, particularly in the English department, and also for those teachers who are handling research subjects, we interact with students, particularly student researchers, during the consultation time and the TOA itself. And apart from that, we interact with them virtually with the Canvas inbox feature. Thank you,
Okay,
Miss.
very good. So there are ways to interact with the students. So based on your answer, thank you, Sir Wishley, for your sharing. So we have the TOA, of course. We also have our academic consultation. We have our discussion boards, of course. We do also have our Canvas inbox. Those are ways in which we can interact our students. But why is there a need for us to interact with our students? Why? Okay, for the advisors, they make use of the homeroom time. Yes, sir, Victor. Why do we need to interact with the students?
Good afternoon, Miss. So as an advisor, Miss, we need to interact or get to know our students or my advisees for me to also do my part as an advisor, for me to cater to which part are they good and which part still they need improvement. For me also to collaborate or to connect with the subject teachers as to which or who among my students actually have no attendance in TOA or they're not participating well in class. So in that way, Miss, I can assess their initial assessment of their learning needs and what factors might could have contributed to those issues, Miss, and so that I may also contact their parents as soon as possible.
Okay, very good, sir. So others also had answered to know their nature and understand them more to cater to their needs. This is also one way to establish connection and also communicate with them, to monitor them, and then engage them or to track their progress. From Sir Gisrael, getting to know your students is essential for creating a sense of community in an online classroom, which promotes productive and enjoyable learning while also assisting students in developing problem solving and critical thinking analysis. Okay, that's very comprehensive, Sir Jezreel. Thank you for that. And from Dr. Grace, to develop critical thinking skills of students. Okay, so you have varied responses as to why we need to interact with our students. So basically, one way of knowing our students is to have personal encounter with them, have a personal interaction with them. So the TOA would not be enough for us to cater all their concerns. And so we have our academic consultation. So in academic consultation, we have bigger time allocation where we can fully interact with them. But if academic consultation, and for those who would not be who would be very shy to be in the academic consultation, we can also interact with them through discussion board or through Canvas inbox. Okay, so this is one of the tips of knowing our students. The second one is provide timely feedback. Why do we need to provide timely feedback? Yes? Take note, this is not the Maritesan style, all those chismis, but this is more on their scholastic achievements or progress. To know their progress. Yes, sir. What else? Who else would like to share the answers? To articulate sense of progress. Okay, common is progress. So that they will be given time to improve significantly. Timely feedback allows students to improve their work. Exactly. Because the feedback would also increase the level of engagement on the part of the students. So they will feel that the teachers are concerned with their progress, their performance, and so providing timely feedback would help them improve more on what areas they are lack of. Aside from those, we also have answers from from our colleagues. We have to give them the chance to assess themselves, to provide which part are they good or better, yes, to know their difficulties and give appropriate intervention. Okay, so with as I've said a while ago, providing timely feedback, we can make use of the grade book also, so that we would be able to know who are not answering, completing their modules. And we can also give them feedbacks. Oh, you have to finish or you have to start your module now. And at the same time, checking our quizzes and giving some comments would also help them to be aware of what they need to improve on. So thank you for your answers. Let us proceed to the third one. Check that students are engaged. So how do we check if our students are engaged in our discussion or in our subject? Their virtual involvement in the TOA. Very good. If they ask questions. Thank you, Ms. Dessa. How else do we check the students' engagement? Through the responses, and if they were able to transfer their learning in the performance tasks. Answer our questions and in turn ask questions. Okay, so we have different answers. So we need to, this is similar with number 2, giving them feedback would also give us feedback on our case if students are engaged in our lessons, like if they are very prompt in submitting the task within the given due or deadlines, and at the same time, for a while, if and when classroom participation is evident, that's from Doc Grace, if they give insights and realizations, exactly, especially not only copied from the internet, but based on their real life experiences and own realizations. Yes, as we also give feedback, it should be specific and constructive. It should not be vague. It should not be broad, but focus on the learning difficulty that they need to improve on, or they need to check on, or in that manner. So thank you. We'll proceed to the fourth one. Develop a system of support. How do we do? How do we encourage them, or how do we tell them that there is a system of support? And why do we need to develop a system of support? Anyone? Yes? Can we have? Okay, for praise them for their progress. Yes, Miss Marielle, thank you for that. For collaborative activities, FGDs. What else? How else do we develop, and why do we need why do we need to develop a system of support? Yes? Why is there a need for us to develop? Especially in this pandemic class, with all their mental health concerns and the likes, in the first week or even in the first month of being with the students, we should let them know that they have this onboarding support with them. We have the presence of the counselors. Of course, we have the advisors. We have the prefect of disciplines, even administrators who are willing to listen to all their complaints, or if ever even sharing their own personal problems, especially for those who have for those parents who are working abroad. So I guess that's the time also that we let them feel that in the absence of your parents, we have the advisors, we have the prefect of discipline to support you and willing to be with you, share or listen to all their sentiments. Okay, so according also to Miss Eliza, this is one way also to let the students feel that we care for them. Yes, very good. It's also to develop confidence, and it encourages students to engage in discussion. Exactly, because mura og no it's like creating a bridge without any judgment, without any prejudices or whatsoever. For them to feel that they are not alone in the virtual setup. And this is to reduce also students' depression and anxiety amidst these challenging times. According to Sir Victor, this is to feel that they are not alone, and we are here not to invalidate what they feel, but to acknowledge what they feel and for them to have someone to confide to. Yes, based on what I have shared a while ago. And this is also to develop dependence, not to develop dependence, but rather independence, but appreciated. Okay, so thank you for your answers. Somehow, we have a very fruitful discussion and sharing with based on what you have encountered with our students. So the last one, address issues of access and equity. Do we is this one of the problems we usually encounter? Do we have issues of access and equity? Please do note that not all our students are materially blessed. Some of them are using like old model of laptops, gadgets. Some of them are even using cell phones. And for those who do not have any gadgets and even access to internet connection, and so they opted for offline modality. So in this point, we need to be, as we address access of as we address rather issues of access and equity, we need to be compassionate. Sometimes they would not be able to attend our TOA because of the internet connection. Somehow, they just merely, if we ask for like Canva presentation, but they cannot do it because somehow their models of or their laptop models cannot do those things, and so they opted to submit just drawings, handwritten output. But we need to accept this because these are the product of their hard work, that despite this learning difficulties, they manage to basically meet with what we demand from them. Though we do not expect for a grand output from them, but appreciating their effort and doing their part just to pass the given requirement, that's already fulfilling on our part and even on their part. So these are the ways in order for us to get to know our students, and at the same time, doing this also would guide us as to what better approaches, what better styles are we going to employ in order to meet the demands, the different needs of our students. Now, in terms of integrating or incorporating digital apps, we have here, we can make use of Padlet, Wakelet, Flipgrid. I know others are using other digital apps. So I would like to hear from from our colleagues, what are other digital apps did you incorporate in your TOA or even in your Canvas in order to get to know our students? For Sir Wishley, you have the discussion board. We have the Google, we have the Jamboard. How else? How else do you get to know your students, or what rather digital apps did you employ? Nearpod, word wall. I'm not familiar with word wall. Yeah, that was introduced this morning. Edpuzzle, Nearpad, Mentimeter, Words Wall, Mentimeter, Jamboard. I use Flipgrid and Padlet for getting to know. Okay. I use also Flipgrid, especially in the first, in their first, in our first TOA meeting, because I don't have, I didn't get the chance to see them, especially if they have reasons like their camera is broken and we cannot see them. So I don't want to see, I don't want that at the end of the academic year, I would not be able to see their faces. And so I use Flipgrid to video themselves and then do a little introduction of themselves. Okay. And then others are using also still Google Doc. Okay, quizzes. So there are a lot of ways where we can make use of digital apps that somehow it doesn't, it also, this would not also limit that these are only the suggested, but somehow we get to use digital app based on because we're used to it. Somehow it's very easy to use, and at the same time, because with my experience Nearpod, it will basically, if I will use it, my connection would be so kanang maglagging ang connection ako. So I would rather use Mentimeter, or it could be even ang ako ang most abuse is Jamboard and Slido. Okay? Thank you for that. Next, the second area is collaboration. Now, why do we need for us to collaborate? And what are the different collaborative activities did we come up with in our teaching learning experience? Kindly feel free to share. Research paper incorporating the sustainable goals. Okay, thank you, sir. That is your collaboration, Sir Wishley. Sir Wishley, are you still around? Magparamdam ka, Sir
Yes, miss. Can you
Wishley.
hear me?
Yes,
I'm
Sir
adjusting with
Wishley.
my microphone, my good miss, but it's malfunctioning this time.
Okay.
In my case,
So you answered research paper,
yes,
yes.
miss. That is in collaboration with Sir John Acuno and Miss Michelle's uh, subjects, Research 2 and Capstone projects. Collaborative in a sense that they are not just doing that for the sake of being in a group, but they are trying to solve a particular societal problem that is articulated in the sustainable goal as a group. So in one way or another, collaboration does not limit only to having groups or doing together, but solving problems together at the same time.
Okay, exactly. So why do we need to have collaborative learning activities? Basically, it is said to promote higher level of thinking. At the same time, it will preserve information for longer time than the students who are working alone. Well, according to an old adage that says two heads are better than one. So more or less, students better learn if they are in a group than working alone or working individually. So with the how do this one sharing of ideas, discussion, clarification of ideas, the the more they get to retain what they have learned, and at the same time it also promote higher level of engagement in the student, higher level rather of learning, not engagement. But of course, if they are engaged, they better learn also in a group. So we do collaborative activities, but why is there a need to do that? For a while, it's lagging. Oh, okay, very good. So these are the following tips. How do we do the collaborative activities? The first one is to establish group goals. Now, why is there a need for us to establish group goals in a collaborative activity? Anyone? Yes, anyone? Why do we need to establish group goals? Can we have? Okay, this is to guide and designate tasks equally. Okay, equal distribution of tasks among the members. Collaboration would be very feasible to divide the labor properly. Exactly. This is to know where the group is going. Exactly. So they will be directed as to what to do, and at the same time this will also save time in order for them to achieve the goals, because they have um, clearly defined, or we have clearly defined the goals, their tasks that they need to achieve or finish on a given time. So somehow setting goals or establishing goals would be directing them, guiding them what to clearly do in a certain task. Okay. Next is, if we do collaboration, it should be mid-sized. What does it mean? And why it should be in a mid-sized group? Yes, anyone? So everybody will be able to contribute exactly to accommodate each of the member in the group, and it would be easy to manage. Students can regulate the subtasks on their own. Exactly. So the disadvantage of having a big group is the tendency to have mga freeloading. Students tend not to participate because they will have, we have the same idea with Mr. So and so Mr. Jero Andrada or whosoever. So they tend to not participate and become dependent with the others, especially those who are leading the group. But if we do mid-size grouping, tendency, we can equally divide the tasks among each member, and at the same time, as said here, they can also regulate their own tasks on their according to their own pace. So having mid-sized grouping is ideal in coming up with collaborative activities. Next is build trust and promote open communication. In what way that in collaborative activities, we are building trust and we are promoting open communication? Yes, can you share to us your experience? Anyone? How does it build trust? Through live peer evaluation, yes. How else? How else? Please take note that when we do collaborative activities, it's also it's delegating them, and it's like building trust in them that they can do their tasks. Specifically, if we have clearly defined our goals. So basically, with collaborative effort, with collaborative activities rather, somehow we tend to communicate openly with the students, and at the same time trusting them that they can do well, they can finish on time, and in that way we can say that we do empower them to become better in their assigned tasks. So that's how important is or essential rather, building trust in our collaborative activities. Next is use real world problems. Why do we need to use real world problems? Anyone? Why do we need to use real world problems? Yes, anyone? Real world problems would encourage students to be engaged. Somehow, if it's not within their personal experience, especially with this pandemic, we can always use real world problems, because this is based on their personal experience. Once it's based on their personal experience, once they clearly see what is happening around them, then we can say that somehow we promote engagement, active participation from the students, because this is not an artificial scenario. These are real world problems. And with this, they will be motivated rather to engage more and be in the group or in the activity. The last one, of course, when we do collaborative activities, of course, we consider the intellectual divergence. And so this reminds us that when we do our PT groupings, those who are mentally challenged should also be divided, and at the same time equally divided rather, and then those who are um, better in our classes, then they should also be equally divided, so that we could also address to their diversity, in that in this group nagtapok si puros nagkinahanglan og support, and the other group kay of course you would expect better output because it's composed of bright or kind of smart students, though sorry for the branding of the word. So with that, in not only in other in PT but in other collaborative activities, this is one way we have to remember that we should equally divide them, so that we would also what the term is, we would also acknowledge them, and at the same time know that despite their difficulties, they have something to contribute in the group. It's 3:28. Okay. Not just real type problems, but a localized and contextualized so that they can relate. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Sir John Mark. It also developed critical thinking. Yes. Okay, so these are possible digital apps that we can integrate, incorporate with using the Sideboard, using the Jamboard, using the Google Documents. If there are other digital apps that somehow not mentioned here, please feel free to type in your answer. Aside from Jamboard, what are other digital apps did you use? Did you integrate for your collaborative activities? Aside from all those mentioned here. Anyone from the group? Yes? Wala? So, basically, very accessible and very common that we use, especially for PT collaboration, is the use of Google Docs. For discussion, if you wish to have a like sort of brainstorming with the other members or with other students, then we go for breakout rooms. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brother Vince. Others are also using Padlet. Yes, Jamboard for collaboration. Okay, so thank you. The last area now is reflection. This is now the heart among the three key areas: reflection, and how do we integrate values also in our discussion. So it's not solely more an academics, but also touching the hearts of our students through integrating values. Okay, so the following are tips for reflection. We can ask powerful questions to reflect on a deeper level, employ video or songs or poem analysis, choose values to integrate from LGP. We can also give examples that relate to the personal experiences, and at the same time, promote sense of empowerment and inner fulfillment. Now, I know that you have been doing this, but I want from the group to share their experience as to how do they integrate values, how do what are ways that they integrated their values? Can we ask from can we ask to share his or her personal experience, how how he does his reflection or integration? Um, can we ask Sir Victor?
Good afternoon, miss. Good afternoon, teachers. So in my whenever I will be given a subject uh, to teach in junior high and senior high, one of the questions that I would always ask myself is that how would I teach this subject? How would I teach this subject to the students, not just for them to know the concepts, but also what could be the value-laden principles or what could be the reflection that I could actually reflection activities that I could actually create for them to realize how necessary it is good to engage in this. So I do this, Miss, usually, of course, during my TOA and during synchronous and also during asynchronous, I have a part in my module wherein I utilize the Canvas discussion. I will post a specific, be it be specific saying, or it could be a phrase from a certain person, or it could be from anyone. Then I will ask them to reflect on this statement or reflect, watch and reflect on this video. Then kindly provide your thoughts below. And after, during a Dayan hour class, miss, I will then, before I'll start, I will then try to ask at least one of them to share their answers regarding the previous, regarding their answers on the previous module that we have. And also, miss, I also incorporate it through providing them food for thoughts whenever we start our class. As we all know that man does not live by bread alone, but by the word, that verse. And so I always incorporate this food for thought. I learned this from one of my professors in college as well, si Ma'am Grace, and also Sir John Mark, that always start our class with not just to state your lesson and stuff like that, but also to give something which your students can reflect on during or at the end of the lesson. So that's it po, miss.
Okay, thank you for your personal sharing, Sir Victor. The very reason, according to Sir Wishley, the very reason why effective learning objective should be part of the lesson planning. Okay, yes, sir. So, aside from Sir Victor, can we hear from the English department? How do you do your reflection? Because, of course, this is very common to us. We ask powerful questions, we employ. I guess there are other tips that we can also add how to deal with reflection. Miss Ali?
Hello, Miss DJ. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, miss.
Um, for English department, Miss, it is we are lucky actually to have unit titles wherein we can base our value integration with it. So, for example, when for grade 7 we have asserting one's identity. So our values would center on that unit. That is why we're able to give really the values right there and then in every lesson. But in terms of these tips, Miss, we are actually doing this as well. We relate it's easy for us to relate the values and the personal experiences of the students because we have literature subjects, and even if it's grammar topics, we can also apply our values through the sentences that we are using. So for English department, Miss, that is like an ease for us to have reflection sessions with our students.
Okay. Thank you for that, Miss Eliza. How about from the social, not social science, how about from the higher education? Can we ask from Sir John Mark Saldivar?
Hello, Miss. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Uh, uh, in terms of what's this is it value integration, Miss, or asking students to reflect to reflect on something? Am I correct,
Yes,
Miss?
yes, sir.
Uh, okay. The value integration does not necessarily be found at the end of the lesson. It can be integrated anywhere. And so the same with reflection. I think simple reflective questions pertaining to the lesson would help our students develop metacognition, because I think that's the very purpose why we ask reflective questions. We want
Question.
them to think about what they are thinking. So reflective questions pertaining to the lesson is, I think, very important. And we do that one in our Prof Ed subjects most
Okay.
of the time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we have here in junior high, we also ask powerful questions. We call it essential questions because somehow through essential questions, we can also anchor or values, integrate values out from that. And at the same time, through essential questions, that would be the basis of the essential understanding that a student needs to know or needs to learn in a certain quarter and at this on a deeper level because it's not only based on academics but somehow with value laden outputs, not only kanang shallow lang, but in a deeper sense, in a deeper level rather of um, getting the essential understanding of the students. Okay, so these are ways for us to incorporate or employ our digital apps that we can incorporate. Rather, we have Peer Deck, we have Mentimeter, we have Wakelet. For my reflection, I use Google Docs. Others, what did you use? As others are using also Jamboard. These are very common. It doesn't mean that this can only be used in collaborative learning, but these mentioned digital apps can be used depending on the maybe because you're used to it or the accessibility and the convenience of it. Okay, so um, this time, we only have 20 minutes left. Um, we need your output. Um, we will no longer have the role play, but this is a very big group. And so I will be dividing the group into nine groups. You're all 81, so 9. So group 1 and 3 will have to present a PowerPoint presentation or just do some ways. What are the digital apps that can you make use um, in getting to know? Group 4 and 6, collaboration. And then group 7 and 9 is reflection. I believe that we need to keep the groupings mid-size, but due to time constraint, and at the same time, these are very big, large groups. So um, the group will have 9 members. So I hope we will be able to still, despite the large group, you'd still be participating in your group. So I will be opening again. You have to come up only with a since it's not no longer a role play, just a quick PowerPoint presentation na lang, how you deal with getting to know, or we can have other alternatives. We can still have the role play. However, I will be calling you randomly. There would be one representative for getting to know, one representative for collaboration, and one representative for reflection part. Okay, I guess we will have to stick na lang. We will do the role play. I will give you 10 minutes to brainstorm and another 5 minutes for the presentation. Okay, so please accept the invitation now as I open the breakout rooms. For a while. Okay, again, directions. You have to have your role play, brainstorm with your colleagues, with your members, and then you will be given 5 minutes to do the presentation. But you will be randomly called to present rather among the groupings who will be presenting for the getting to know, collaboration, and reflection. Okay, so kindly accept now your assigned breakout room. For those who are in the main call, kindly proceed now to your assigned breakout room. Yes,
Miss DJ, good afternoon.
yes, bro.
Miss, maximum 5 minutes before 4 for
Yes,
3:55, please. Thank you. Thank you, Miss DJ.
welcome, bro.
Miss DJ, question sa amo ay nawala. Ay, okay. Ah,
Miss Ali?
Hi, Ber. We have a question ito for Miss DJ, pero she left the meeting.
I think she's in the breakout room, Miss Ali.
So,
John Mark.
Everyone, can you proceed now to the main call? Welcome back to the main call. Okay, can we have the presentation? Can we have from for group 1 to 3, we will have group 2. For 4 to 6, we will have group 4. For 7 to 9, we'll have group 9. Depende na kung maabtan sa time. Okay? So can we have group 2? Can we have group 2? The group of Miss Natalie, I guess. Miss Natalie.
Hello, good afternoon, Miss DJ. Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, Miss Natalie, you can start.
Okay.
Please prepare group 4 and then group 7.
Okay. So we're assigned for
Okay.
getting to know.
Sige,
Okay.
sige na lang, bro.
So members,
Okay, bro.
Miss Carla, Sir Victor, Sir Hero, Miss Michelle. Okay. Good afternoon, grade 3 class.
Good afternoon, Miss Nat.
Okay.
Good
So
afternoon, Miss.
Miss Nat.
welcome to school year 2021-2022. So I'm sending a Google link form in the chat box because I'd like to know your learning modality, the gadget that you're using, and then the online class supporting materials that you have at home. Then I think some of you messaged me that you cannot access the link. Do not worry. I'll guide you on that and message you through text or SMS. And of course, I'll call you. Okay? Carla?
Yes, Ma'am Nat. Good
Okay. I think you have problems in your with your mic. So do not worry on that. I'll be calling you personally, okay? Okay,
Hi,
thank you.
Ma'am Nat. I'm back. Sorry, I lost my connection.
Okay, do not worry, Carla. So I think it's almost time already. So you can just message me in the Canvas inbox. Goodbye, grade 3.
Goodbye, Miss Nat.
Thank you for your presentation, Miss. Despite the limited time to prepare, you were able to have your presentation. Thank you for the collaborative effort of Group 2. We wish to see the other presentation from the other group, but then we do not have enough time. Thank you for your active participation for today's session. I hope you learn from all the experiences, shared experiences, personal sharing from our colleagues, and the different digital apps that somehow been used by our colleagues. So thank you for that. And for the last one, I would just like to know what is your takeaway from this session. Can I only have 2 from the participants? Can I ask from Miss Alma to be followed by Miss Tata, from Ma'am Tata. Miss Alma, are you still with us, Miss Alma?
Good morning. Ay, good afternoon,
Yes, Miss
everyone.
Alma.
Am I audible? Char.
Yes, Miss.
From this session, I have learned that it's really important that we know our students so that we will be able to address properly. And we have to make sure that we do collaboration and um, we should all be guided. We should use pedagogies which will address the needs of the students that are entrusted to us. That's all. Thank you, Miss
Okay.
DJ.
Thank you for your sharing, Miss. Can I have Miss Ma'am Tata?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I like this getting to know and collaboration. At least I'm not talking to robots. I hate like this one. They're not opening their cameras. I suspect they are doing something else. So it's good to open their cameras during TOA, no, online classes, because I am sure they are collaborating with me. I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure I'm not talking to robots because I will get depressed or murag doon na sa depression. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your sharing, Ma'am Tata. So I guess this is the end of our session. Thank you for your active participation. I hope we would be able to continue learning, never stop learning, because in the end, it would also help us to become better in our teaching learning experience. So thank you everyone for your active participation. Sorry if there are aspects where I failed to meet your expectations, but I'm trying my best despite my fear facing the different our colleagues, mga doctors. Thank you for patiently listening and sustaining your attention until 4 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss. Bye, teacher.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you,
Thank
Miss
you, Miss
DJ.
Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lasal and partners, kindly proceed to our main plenary call. Again, Lasal and partners, kindly proceed to our main plenary call. Thank you again to Ms. DJ for her session this afternoon.